Hello, my friends, and welcome to Speaking on Anime. Yeah, that's the new title for the show on Sundays when I cover anime and stuff. I hope you guys all like that new intro. That was made for me by my son. He actually did that. I kind of set that out earlier this week for people to watch and take a look at. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that was just really good. The really good editing. He does a good job. And stuff. So he made that for me, and I was really excited to share that with everybody. That's going to be my new intro. He's also working on some other ones for me. But that's the new one. If you missed it, you can go back to the beginning of the story and take a look. Just wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Jester of Sin and AKA DD Myers so far. Looks like there's more in there, but not everybody else is talking. So welcome, and thank you guys for being here. Let me go ahead and bring in my guest this week, and we will get going on this fantastic anime. Let everybody say a big hello to Golgo13, a fellow Idahoan. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Oh yeah, how is everyone doing today?
Yeah, it's a good day. I just got home off the road. I've been on my way to Tennessee and back this week, so but had a chance to go over and watch Assassination Classroom again this week. And Gogo has finished the first season. So let's get your thoughts, Gogo. As you were going through this, what was your initial thoughts on Assassination Classroom?
Well, my initial thoughts on it were, what the hell did I just watch? It is so funny. It's so different than anything I think I've ever seen in anime. From the first episode, I was hooked. It was just the premise of it is just so out there, but yet it works so well. And yeah, it had me through the whole first season. I've thoroughly enjoyed it quite extensively.
Yeah, it is. Like I was telling you before, this one I'd seen it pop up, and usually when you see this on one of the streaming service, all you see is the big smiling yellow face. You don't see anything else. and so I was like, okay, I don't know what that. I was like, pfft. And I wasn't interested until my youngest daughter, who's 13, actually came to me and said, "Dad, you got to watch this one. It's really good," because she knows what an anime nut I am. And I'm just like, okay, but like I was telling Gogo, I'm just like, I'm not sure a 13-year-old should be watching something called Assassination Classroom. But I was really surprised at this is not. It's not exactly what it sounds like. The title is a little misleading. You're going to think that this is some horrific, bloodbath thing that you're about to start watching. It's not at all. So it's not. This really, like I said in the title, it has something for everybody. I don't know if you felt that way.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hilarious. It's one of those. It continues on with the tradition of like a My Hero Academia. The Japanese have a thing for setting things within either a junior high school or a high school, and basically treating these kids as adults and trying to figure out an adult problem in ways that the adults can't seem to figure out. And this falls right in line with that trope that the school can be a rough playground, very cutthroat. But then again, the Japanese are very cutthroat when it does go to their education. They don't mess around with it, and that comes through with all these different animes that have that school focus. And this one is definitely no different in that regard, except for what type of training and education they get.
Yeah, that is definitely a change for a hail brightest day. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, it's this. So we'll kind of go over a brief just a synopsis of what you're going to see in this, and we'll try not to be too spoilery, but there are going to probably be some spoilers in this because you can't. It's so hard to talk about something like this without giving some things away. But seriously, even if we give some things away, seeing it actually on the screen and what they do with it and how they animate it, trust me, you're still going to be just blown away by this anime, like I was and Gogo was. This is so the main character that you're going to be really following, and it really is an ensemble cast. There are a lot of characters in this anime. It's very much like My Hero Academia, like you say, in that way. Lots of characters. But the main one you're going to be focusing on is named Koro Sensei. He is the teacher. He is the yellow-faced guy with the tentacles and stuff that you see there behind our pictures. The octopus. And so, like I said, and then you've got a couple of adults. You've got Kasama. I can never say his name right. Karasama. He is the other. He's like a Ministry of Defense agent who's also their PE teacher. Then you've got one of my favorite characters is Ivana Irina Jelovich, which the kids all call her Professor Bitch, and it starts out as a thing because she's kind of a bitchy character, and she and they're like, "What's your name, Yellow Bitch?" And she's like, "No nicknames." And then it just devolves into Professor Bitch, and that's what they call her throughout the rest of the whole series. And it's just, and it goes from being kind of a nasty thing to like a term of endearment. Like the kids all say it with respect, which is so funny to see that shift. But I mean, and it happens, but it's really funny. And she's kind of just a crazy, funny character, but she's an assassin who's, because the premise of this show is the moon explodes. So over 70% of the moon is destroyed like in an instant. And then he shows up in their classroom and admits that he's the one that did it. So, and if I'm missing anything, you'll have to jump in and help me here. But so he's saying, so he gets brought in. They introduce him and say that basically he wants to teach this class because in March he's going to blow up the world, and they can't kill him. They can't, like, the military can't catch him. The rockets, they can't destroy him. No matter what they shoot him with, it doesn't seem to have any effect on him for the most part. And so, like, because they're like, so we're agreeing to this because at least we'll know where he is most of the time, and he's allowing you all as a class of eighth graders essentially to try and kill him every day. And that's becomes the whole focus of their class, is to try and kill their teacher while learning. He's going to teach them while trying to be assassinated by them. So the premise is very strange, but hail Spartan. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I'll let you take some of this, so I'm not just yammering on.
It's out there. And the name that he's given, he has a name, but he doesn't use it in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And all the kids come up with this name of Koro Sensei. So he's basically their teacher, their master, the sensei part. And Koro basically is unkillable. So he is the unkillable sensei, which is an interesting thing. You would think that a being of supreme power and speed wouldn't want to teach or train people in how they could possibly kill him, but he does. It's a very strange concept of a teacher that's so loving and caring, yet so dangerous at the same time.
That he's going to destroy the world. Yeah. Admittedly, that's his goal.
Yeah, he's going to blow it up. He's going to blow it up at the end of their second semester, at the end of school for the year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
seems
funny.
a little strange.
They do come up with some stuff to kill him. There's these little pink BBs, and he calls them anti-me BBs, which I just love that name. I'm like, I don't know who came up with that, but that's genius, just because it's so funny. And then there's these knives, all of which are completely ineffective against human beings. They cannot hurt human beings,
but deadly to him.
Yeah, lethal to him. And so the kids are all handed these weapons, these knives, guns, and stuff that shoot these anti-me BBs. And then just the chaos ensues. The first thing you see when you get into the first episode is he shows up, starts to take roll, and as he does, they all pull out guns and start
trying to shoot
him. And you see him flickering around, moving real fast, and he's calling roll as he's doing this. And my favorite line in that first episode is like, can you speak up, so and so? I couldn't hear you over the gunfire.
Yeah, he just continues on as normal, like nothing's going on. All of the time, he's dodging everything.
Because like his abilities are just like crazy. He can travel at Mach 20 all the time. He can just like flicker around, and he is super intelligent. Like they can't rate his intelligence. That's how smart he is.
Hyper intelligence. Yep.
But hyper intelligent. Just it is so funny, and it just and the chaos just kind of continues from there on. And the guy that they got to play Koro Sensei's voice, his name is, I had it here. It's where'd it go? Sonny. Oh shoot. I can't remember his last name. His first name's Sonny, but he's played a lot of vocal characters. If you've watched anime very much, you've probably heard him in other things. I know that he played Major Hughes in
of course,
Full Metal Alchemist.
Goes dead.
Yeah, my was gone. Full Metal Alchemist. He plays Major Hughes, which he's one of my favorite characters in that anime. But yeah, he plays this so well, and it's just it brings a life to this character that you wouldn't expect to like him as much as you're going to, but you will absolutely love him. Hail Curtis, thanks for popping in. I think he's excited about the gun you've got mounted on the wall.
Well, most people tend to give high compliments and high praise to it. So yeah, it is my one and only wall piece. So if I'm gonna have something, I gotta have it fit in a little better with this motif than with most other things.
But yeah, so I mean, and this fits right in with what we're talking about today, because you're going to see these kind of weapons throughout this whole anime. Anyway, it just the cast, the kids, the vocal work from the young actors and stuff that they got is just tremendous.
The English voice cast. The English voice cast is tremendous.
Yeah, they are so good. And I don't know what their ages were. I'm sure some of them were like older people that were, because they do that a lot. They'll do a lot of older people, kind of trying to make their voices younger. But Nagisa, he is, let me share a screen here. It's going to blot us out, but there we go. So Nagisa is this little blue-haired character, and he's kind of a short character, and everybody thinks he's a girl.
But he's not, and he's
not
about it.
Yeah, he's not a girl and stuff like that. Even like later in the series, like they go to a swimming hole, and he takes his shirt off, and all the girls are like, "I thought you were a girl," and he's just like, "No, I'm not a girl." But it's actually
see him wearing a dress at school, so they have dress codes. So
so I mean, it is really it's kind of a funny thing, but it's kind of a sad thing too. Once you learn the story behind him, his mother wanted a girl, and basically forces this look on him. Which I was just sitting there the whole time I'm watching this, going, "That is really relevant to what's going." And it messes with this kid. And stuff, and it's amazing that he comes out of it as well as he does, and that's one thing that you're going to find a lot in this anime is that these kids, these characters, I mean, you could have pulled them right out of headlines for what's happening to our kids today, and because this class is called the 3E class, which basically means end of line, the end of the line class. These are the miscreants, the kids that are not getting good grades, that are struggling. Clubs. Yeah, I mean, it's just they're just the rough kids, and the way they get treated in this school is just horrendous, because they're used as basically like the what you don't want to do, and that's how they're treated by the rest of the school, like the untouchables and stuff, and it makes the other kids perform really well, but it really screws these kids. And Koro Sensei comes in and basically changes all of that. He
Yes.
starts to see their worth, and I mean, he plays to their strengths. I wish teachers would watch this anime just to learn how to become teachers.
Yes,
I mean,
most definitely. This sets up exactly as every teacher in every class should be. You're always going to have the kids that are smart and do well. No, they don't need much encouragement, but you're always going to have those that are smart, are vastly, highly intelligent, highly capable, but because of either their home life or how they've been treated prior, getting into trouble, they get tossed into this classroom and are basically just left there to rot.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, Koro Sensei coming in and seeing their worth and then teaching them in the ways that help them. They go from being zeros to more or less heroes. And as the little school mascot says, "What the Class 3E's going on vacation?"
The class mascot videos alone are almost worth watching for, because they are so over the top and stuff. It's just this little acorn character jumping around, being really just silly and obnoxious, like a lot of Japanese characters tend. It's kind of very tropish and stuff, but it's really great. But yeah, the fact that like these. There's an episode in the first season where they're playing baseball. They're playing against the baseball team has an exhibition match against the E-class, basically just to make them feel worse, because these are kids that are going on to be scouted by high schools, and I mean they're the top of what they do in baseball, and they end up actually beating them because of how Koro Sensei kind of helps them see, play to your strengths, play to what makes, and the whole idea behind this class is teaching them how to be assassins, to treat every situation like it's your target, and that you've got to defeat it. You've got to win. You've got to find your way around and overcome. The idea of assassination isn't so cool, but it's also a very interesting idea, because assassins they have to adapt and do all kinds of crazy stuff that most people never would in their life.
They have to learn on the fly. They have to be adaptable, and they have to have that X factor, that it factor, to help them overcome what obstacles are thrown in their way, whether it be by just happenstance, or the old saying, "A plan never survives past first contact." That's basically first rule of assassination. So,
yeah, and that's how this whole thing gets treated. I'm sorry, I think my internet's slowing down here a little bit, so I shut my camera off just so that maybe that won't be so affected. Because I hate it when people streams do that. But yeah, no, there's an episode where they bring in an outside teacher, and this guy he comes off as a real nice guy at first, but he is just a total thug. Takioka is the guy's name, and he starts basically abusing these kids in the PE class, using severe corporal punishment kind of discipline in order to push them. And Koro Sensei just gets super, because that's one of the conditions. He cannot hurt these kids no matter what they do, basically. As part of this, I mean, they've made an agreement and stuff like that. And so you can tell he cares for these kids, and you can't really figure out why. That's the big why of this whole series, is why is this super powerful being content to teach a room full of untouchable kids? And I mean, you have to watch both seasons, because Gogo and I was talking before, this has a very defined beginning and end to this series. It's 2 seasons, and then it ends, and you find out everything you need to know and stuff like that. But it keeps you guessing right to the end. But yeah, I mean, how that they handle this bully kind of brute teacher is just, it's fantastic, and it's the smallest kid in the class that pulls it off.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. So yeah, I mean, it just it really goes to show that, you know, size and stuff, it doesn't matter. It all depends on how you use, you know, what you have, that you play to your strengths and you can win. I don't know. Did you have a favorite character as you were going through this? Did you find you know, kind of identified with anybody in particular?
Well, I do like Koro Sensei just because he's such a flawed human type of overpowered super being. You know, for him being as powerful and as fast and as everything as he is, he's got a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws.
Yes, he does.
But even with all the flaws that they find out and start trying to use against him, he always, at least up through what we've seen, he always seems to find a way to, I don't want to say subvert the expectation, but he always finds a way to take his ability to outwit them with them trying to kill him and make it a teachable moment. Everything with him is a teachable moment.
Yes. Yeah,
and to me, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it really is fascinating how he does it. You know, just very, very clever writing. You will end up sitting back going, how did they manage to turn that into that? But yeah, no. Oh, and Hale, Nerdporeal Lifeform, thanks for joining us.
Howdy, Adega.
And Adega, yep. Sorry. Discord now. That's all right. It's all good.
It's what happens when you set up a Discord server.
Oh yeah. But no, so it just the humor in this will, like, it'll be going along, and then they'll do something and it will just it will catch you and you will just bust out laughing because you're not expecting what's about to happen. There is some suggestive stuff in this. In fact, one of Koro Sensei's big weaknesses is pornography.
He likes the boobs.
Yeah, he gets called a boob man. I don't know how many times throughout this. And it's funny, at one point they use that as a trap to try and catch him. And it's just like this kid that's kind of the
pervy
yeah, the
kid.
pervy.
That seems to be a common theme within these academia shows. You've always got all the brainiacs and the cute kids, the smart kids, the clever kids, and then you have the pervs that just like girls.
Yeah, this is Midoriya. If you're watching My Hero Academia, this is the Midoriya character, and he takes his stash and sticks it out in the forest to try and trap his teacher, and and catch him and get him shot with anti-sensei BBs or anti-me BBs and stuff. But like there's really kind of cool, heartfelt moments where like Koro Sensei grabs two of the kids and takes them to a premiere movie in Hawaii. Because he travels all over. Like, he's just like, hey, I think I'll just pop over to China for some takeout. And boom, and he's gone. Because he can travel at Mach 20. So, I mean, he can just flit around the globe like it's nothing and stuff. And he uses that kind of as teaching moments as well. And I mean, but seriously, you will just bust out laughing at different parts of this, just unexpectedly. This is one moment where
everything about
I'll let you talk for a minute. I feel like I'm just yammering.
Yeah, everything about the show, if you think it's going one way, then all of a sudden it goes the other. And back to the point about teachers should watch this to get more of an idea of how to interact with kids. That is so very true. This is something that I wish more teachers would see and would try to focus on and actually take the time to get to learn the kids well enough to be able to adapt your teaching not only to them individually, but them as a whole in the class. But because of the fact that he's fast and he can work fast and think fast, he's able to do that. And it's the there comes a point when they have to take their midterms, and he quite literally goes so fast that he splits himself up into about 30 different pieces to be able to teach all the kids all the various subjects that they need help with. So it's a very interesting conundrum. Here you have this teacher that I think, just from going through the first season, I think it's more than just a teacher thing. He loves these kids. He grows to love them, to respect them, and to take pride in the work that they've done and the pride in the work that he's put into them, even though they're trying to kill him.
Yeah. Like I said, it is such a juxtaposition between I mean, it almost break your neck if you're trying to keep track of the different, the way this story goes and stuff, because it doesn't sound like it's going to make sense, but trust me, once you get in there and get watching it, it does, and you'll just kind of get blown away by the mad way they link this all together, and the crazy characters they bring in, and each one of these kids, like I said, each one of these kids is very defined as their own character. They all have their own character arcs. Nobody's just there for show. They actually bring an AI character into the classroom, which is it's a machine that's trying to assassinate Koro Sensei as well. And
what's the very first thing that it does? Pulls out all of its anti-me BB weapons and tries to take him out.
Tries to kill him.
And keeps trying to do it the whole first day, and the kids in the class get pissed at it.
And they wrap it up so it can't open its gun ports and stuff. And this, because it's a girl character, and I can't remember what her name ends up being. Oh, hell, Lady Mist, you popped in there. I wasn't even paying attention. Welcome. But yeah, it just. So it's getting mad at Koro Sensei, and one of the kids, and I can't remember, he's kind of the hothead bully kid in this series. Trying to think of what his name is, but anyway, like, he's just like, shut the hell up! I'm the one that locked you in there. It's like, we can't hear a dang thing with you attacking him all day. And Tirasakwa, I think is the kid's name. But yeah, it is just, it's really funny how they managed to make an AI character funny. And the crazy thing is, Koro Sensei actually helps that machine try and be a better assassin as well. He upgrades this machine to try and help it kill him.
I'm say, in this day and age, a full-on upgrade would be trying to find a video card that doesn't cost $3,000.
Yeah, it is really funny. But it's such a contradiction. But it's like, that's just who he is. He wants to see everybody excel, and stuff, no matter who or where or what. That's his character. And it doesn't make sense at first, but the further you go into this series, you start to understand where that all came from. And when you really find out what his origins are, you will be you will not expect the end of this series. Like I said, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. If you have not seen this, seriously, put this one on your I have to go watch this list, because you will not be sorry that you did.
Yeah, it's been great so far. I've only, as we've discussed, I've only gone through season 1. Season 1's a few episodes shorter than season 2, but I've enjoyed every one of them. None of them have been a letdown or a filler. They all work, and they all build upon each other. And if you're wanting a good show that doesn't last forever but has that definitive beginning and end, yeah, this one falls high on that type of list and that type of show.
Yep. And there's a lot of different emotions that you're going to feel through this. They're very good at changing. Like, you'll be laughing 1 second, and then you'll just be like, oh, and all of a sudden you're right in the middle of a learning moment where you're just like, oh, I wish I'd had a teacher like that. And you will find yourself thinking that all the way through this, which it's kind of sad, because no teacher could possibly live up to what they build Koro Sensei into. But that's the really cool thing, is that, it's because you can't have that that, you know, you end up kind of longing for that kind of a character, or hoping that somebody would even try and reach that level of being a teacher. You know, when I was a kid, I had a third grade teacher, Mrs. Hawker. I'll call her out by name. She's an amazing lady. I loved that lady. She was hard as nails, but you learned, and you knew that she cared about every single kid in that class. And it's like, I go into schools nowadays and I'm just like, I don't feel that from a lot of my kids as teachers, which is probably unfair on my part. I mean, I'm not in the class all day and stuff, but I mean, I can probably count those teachers that really had a huge effect on me on one hand.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of them were, they weren't bad people, but it was just a job to them. You know, teaching wasn't that important. And now we see like teachers getting on Twitter and TikTok talking about how they're going to teach people about, hate the patriarchy and you know, how America's and I'm just like,
the critical race theory crap.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not what you're like. Teach them how to read and write. I mean, screw all that other stuff. They can learn that stuff later if they want to. Let them learn, but like, make sure they can read before you start teaching them all this garbage. And I feel like they're dumbing our kids down, and that's why watching this is like, it's fun, and yet at the same time I feel like, oh man.
Yeah, well, it does go to show why the Japanese are always very high up on their education system, because how it's portrayed in there is pretty close to how it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I wish they would bring some of that over here, so that an education isn't just expected. It's like, no, you've got to want an education. I mean, if you have to pass tests, and you have to like apply and stuff to get into high school. It isn't just, oh yeah, boom, you're automatically in, like it is over here. Not to say that education is important, but like they make sure those kids understand, hey, this isn't just a you know, some stupid thing. This is
their business culture is such that unless you are willing to push yourself, you're not gonna make jack boo out of yourself, and they make no bones about it.
Yeah,
and they expect that.
And they're not going to waste their time on somebody.
Yeah, they're not
going to
waste their time on somebody that doesn't care.
Yeah. I mean, that might sound like a really rough thing, but
the world's rough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, prepare them for a life, you know, that isn't easy, because life isn't easy. Half the stuff I've learned in schools is, I just think, you know what, I would have been way better off had they actually taught me skills. You know, I mean, how many kids come out of school today even understanding how economics work?
None, because they don't teach it.
No, because they don't teach it anymore. They don't even teach class like home ec that much anymore.
Or shop.
Or shop, or like, I mean, and if they do, it's just like, it's seen as a goof off class. Whereas when I was growing up, boy, you didn't screw off in those kind of classes. Our shop teacher was a guy who was like, you screw off, you're gone, you know, because people could get hurt.
Exactly.
And I mean, he was very serious, and the best teachers I ever had were the serious ones, you know. I had some fun ones too that knew that, you know, you could be fun and stuff like that. But yeah, so I don't know. But seriously, just go take a couple of episodes. I really am curious to see what all of you out there think of this. Go watch some episodes, get back to us, and just be like, hey, you guys were right. Because I always want to hear of people who haven't seen this before and then go watch it. I mean, I want to hear back from you and be like, yeah, that was great. Thank you for, you know, suggesting that one, or like, you suck. That was terrible.
Well, the more people we can have discussing something that's quite illuminating and hilarious, it's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's why I'm spending so much, you know, I kind of was thinking about this the other day. I actually have to thank Hollywood for being so terrible, because had they not been so terrible, I probably wouldn't have got as deep into anime as I am.
Or for me back into it.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, I was into it when I was younger, and then yeah, really got back into it a few, I don't know, about 10 years ago. But it was just, but I am grateful because now I have all these great shows that I get to watch for the first time. And that's why I'm trying to share this with you guys, so that if you've seen it, we can talk about it. If you haven't, you can go and watch it and then let us know what you think. Because you, like I said, I personally, like I said, I was rewatching this one again this week. I think this is the third time around for me. That's how good and funny this is, because like every time you see it, you're just like, oh, I didn't catch that last time. It's one of those where every time you watch it, you're going to find that you missed something.
No, I'll have to finish up the second one. We'll have to have a concluding discussion and then go back through it again. And yeah, I can't wait to see what I missed, or trying to piece things together a little better in my mind. Yeah, there's definitely certain shows that I've got to watch several times, like Ghost in the Shell, the standalone complex. I've been through that one twice, and I had to do it to be able to get it all to connect right. And this one is one of those I'm going to have to do the same.
Yeah. And see, Ergo Proxy was that way for me. That one was suggested to me by Adega. I went and watched it, and I had to watch it a second time, and I am still not sure I understand all the nuances in that one. Me and Adega did a show on that one, and I'm still sitting there and question. I'm like, did I ever figure out why that figure? Yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones that is such a brain bender that like, but it's something you can go back to over and over again and never really get tired of it.
I'll have to watch that one, and we'll have to have a discussion about it. I got to find what service has it.
I watch most of my anime on Hulu. I have found that Hulu is really good at putting on a lot of anime series in English. They've got quite a few subtitled ones as well. This one can be found on Hulu right now. I'm trying to think of anywhere else I've seen this one.
Let's see. Well, Funimation has it since it's their baby, so that service has it, and I think it might even also be on Crunchyroll. They tend to have some overlap on some of their stuff. But
yeah, that's true. See, and there's quite a few. I'm still trying. I just went through Jujutsu Kaisen. This is a great series. I've got to go through that one again. The Nerdporeal Life Form. Let me get over here so I can click on that. Says a great series to watch is Raxifon. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Rahexfon. See, sometimes that puts me off an anime just because of the title, and then I end up going and watching it, and I'm like, oh, I should have just bypassed the title and just watch.
Yeah, that's one thing. Some of the titles, they either don't translate well to English or they don't care.
Yeah.
so
you got to kind of Zafon. Okay, Zafon. Zafon.
Okay.
I think that's okay. So all right, there's a I need to write that one down here somewhere because I have a list that I'm going through of suggestions that people have given me.
Oh, more optimistic Evangelion, huh? I'll take it.
Oh, okay. But more see, that's one I got about halfway through and just kind of lost interest. Which is sad because it's not a bad show, but I don't know what happened. I was just kind of like, eh.
So some of the more celebrated stuff tends to be a little harsher to take because of the subject matter or how it ends. But I guess I have yet to watch Evangelion, both the old and the new. That's on the list, but it's probably a little weird for my taste. But then again, there's one that I remember from years ago that was on the Sci-Fi Channel's Festival of Animation one year, and it was called Rujin Z. Now that one, it deals with the Japanese medical care system and how they have a aging geriatric population. I say right now, I think almost over half of their population is 65 or older. Well, this show deals with trying to deal with that, and somewhere along the line, someone comes up with a military AI program that they put into a hospital bed to try and take care of this dude. And then, of course, it goes rogue, and they just want to go to the beach.
Nice. Yeah, see, and sometimes those, and that's what I love about the Japanese anime, is that they can take subjects that you would think that's stupid and turn them into something absolutely fantastic. It's just like what I was telling you about that one, Fire Force. That's one I was just like, oh, firefighters, yay. That is a freaking awesome anime. It blew me away. I was not expecting it to be like what it was. I dig it. Robotech. Excuse me. See, that's another one I need to get through. And which is sad because it's quite an older one, if I remember right.
Yeah,
so.
It's either for us, for the US release, it was early to mid 80s. But if I remember correctly, it was based off of like 2 or 3 different shows that they just combined into one. But what do I know?
I mean,
all I do know is I need a gun with some anti-me BBs in it.
I mean, yes. Oh, there was a comedian that talked about that, getting shot with an airsoft rifle, which is what these guns remind me of. The little BBs that airsoft rifles would shoot and stuff. And he was like, getting shot with one of those. He was like, I thought it wasn't going to be that bad. He's like, I lost the feeling in my legs. But I mean, yeah, there's some funny stuff out there, but this, but yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I'm always looking for more stuff. Golden Boy, that one sounds funny. Because you know what's sad is there are, and I know Adega's going to give me crap for this as soon as I say this because he loves getting on me about this kind of stuff. But like there's a couple that the perviness is like, it just ends up being funny. There's somewhere it's not, like on High School DxD. There's a kid in that, like, and I stopped watching that one because I was just like, yeah, it's way over the top. And the kid is like psychotically pervy, and I'm like, okay, that's not funny. That's not okay. But there's other ones that I've seen that have that element to them that end up being just funny because it puts people in weird, awkward situations, and I love watching the reactions. Some of the animation of that stuff is really funny.
There's one thing I've noticed about a lot of these shows where they do have the pervy teen kid that's a bit awkward. One, all the girls basically chastise them and give them shit for it, which is appropriate.
Yes. Yeah.
And 2, they tend to eventually break out of the bad part of the perviness and become more of a ladies' man.
Yeah. They finally realized that's not. I knew it. I knew it if I said something. But
yeah.
But no, it's just I find it hilarious how they do it. There's a one I've talked about before. It's called Monster Mizume, where it is quite suggestive and it's got some mild nudity and stuff in it. But the kid in it is one of these really kind of prim and proper, doesn't know how to handle girls. And so watching his reaction to these girls that are kind of over the top after him is just hilarious to me because he just doesn't know how to deal with it. And he's always trying to get away. And it's silly and over the top, but it just makes me laugh. I don't know. I have that dark sense of humor, unfortunately. That just is something that my whole family suffers from. But so is there anything else that I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we can say about this particular anime that we haven't really covered? I'm trying to go over my notes and I'm drawing a blank.
Let's see. Kids, crappy classroom, awesome teacher, assassination attempts, artificial intelligence. Over the top villain-ish type people popping up every once in a while. Yeah, that's a check. Yeah, this one pretty much has it all, and as we were talking earlier, every character is pretty well defined, has their own arc, and they all complement each other and they don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
And that's something that they're really good at doing in these shows. It's to me it has that My Hero Academia feel. You've got the ensemble cast, everybody gets a chance to shine at one point or another, and at the end of the day they all don't like each other at times, but they all at the very least respect each other and have a common goal. 10 billion yen.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the interesting things to see, that interpersonal conflict and how it's dealt with, and how it changes each one of them. Because there's the one kid I mean, he's just kind of a fun character. It's Karma. He's the redheaded kid that like is just like, he's kind of a psychotic kid, but he's extremely smart. And
extremely confident.
Yeah, and extremely confident.
And extremely talented.
He's just funny. He comes in and he'll just say these things just kind of off the cuff. But like Koro Sensei, and like I said, the guy that does him is just some of the things that he'll do. Like at one point, he's talking about that they have to write a poem about tentacles, and he's like, and let those juices get flowing. He starts like making these noises, and his tentacles are flapping around. Oh, it is just, like I said, I cannot do it justice. The guy is just phenomenal in some of the sound effects that he does, in bringing this character to life. And he makes him feel like a real character, which is hard to do considering what this character is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just... But yeah, get out there, go take a look at this. Let me know what you think. So have you? Let's see. Have you got your YouTube channel up and going yet? Go.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of some house renovations and packing because we're gonna sell the place, and I've had to put that on hold a little bit. But my wife told me to just bite the bullet and do it and start it. So I'm going to start doing things with it starting this next week, this next Monday. I'm going to start trying to put together some short vids and then some longer vids, and have a live stream at least 1 to 2 times a week, if not maybe more. Okay.
Awesome. So you have to kind of keep us informed on that and send out Twitters and stuff so that we can all subscribe.
Yeah, I'll keep everybody appraised on when I get going. And I think the first one that I'll cover will be Golgo13.
Well, why not? I mean, you got it.
Exactly.
I think one of my first shows was how I got Speaker for the Dead. So
yeah. Well, I've got 2 movies and 50 episodes to start with, and then I can move on to everything else. And I'll pretty much never run out of material to go through, talk about, review, criticize, be happy with. Yeah. I've got plenty of material for the rest of my life. Just hope that other people will also enjoy it.
Yeah. No, I think that that's something we can all look forward to. We're always looking for other, more content creators and other guys out there that are doing something that we can watch instead of things like, I don't know, Black Widow movies and He-Man remakes that are just, yeah. I did a video on that earlier this week.
Soy, I am She-Man.
Everybody's gone crazy this week, and I'm just like, what did you guys expect? Why are you surprised? You all knew this was coming. Like,
oh yeah,
it
didn't surprise me one bit at all that who he who shall not be named, the faker. Yeah. He broke a few of my friends. So it was hard to take, predictable but hard. But yeah, I've been a proponent of good anime and finding the niche that you like and stick and exploring it and going through it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And with summers the way they are for me, I'm able to get into it without having the kids here. I have to face it. There's a lot of stuff that's not for kids There's a lot of stuff that is for kids, but
Yeah.
since I'm not a kid, most of the stuff I tend to gear towards. They're not quite at that point in age where I would feel comfortable enough with having them watch it with me and having them get it. And that's another thing is the Japanese are different. You have to have a base understanding of them to be able to get where they're coming from on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got about 30 years worth of stuff there, so
Yeah, it's just because they'll get into subject matter that we won't touch.
Yeah.
Or that most, or the most, what do they want to call it? That we get squeamish about, like incestual relationships. I don't know how many animes I've been watching along, and I'm just like, wait, isn't that his sister? I'm like, that's not okay.
Just have to walk away. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave, and just back up and walk away. Yeah. Yeah, they do tend to go with some things that just too much for me, but when you find the good ones, stick with them to the end because they're great.
Dang it, you make me sound like such a pervert. That's terrible. I am not a pervert.
Pervy, naked gardening, and hormone. That's the one thing I will say. There's no nakedness in this one.
No nakedness in this one. No, none of that. No.
And that's
he
another
loves bringing
thing
that up because of my liking Food Wars, which is a guy who always has a naked butt in that. So, but
I will say this. There are a lot of these shows when they do set them in high school, like My Hero Academia, it's almost like they put adult characters and de-age them, but don't de-age certain parts of their bodies. They did a respectable job with the age of these kids being 8th graders, so 14, 15-ish year old kids. They're not, I remember at that time there were a few kids when I was in school that basically were men because they hit the puberty jackpot quick and got through it all, got the height, got the strength and everything. And then there are others that didn't. So,
yeah. No, it really does show. It really is pretty good as far as showing what an 8th grade mentality would be and stuff for these kids. It is a great show. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and close out. I want to thank everybody who's been here today. I appreciate it. I want to thank Golgo for joining me to talk about this one today. I hope we can start doing more of these discussions together because this has been a lot of fun. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Just let me know when you want to, and I'll make sure that I'm brushed up and refreshed. And as I said, I've got my list put together, and it's a long list, and there are some of them on here that, we could have hours upon hours upon hours of discussion, breaking down, the time frame that it's from, the level of gratuitous violence that's in it, to just the weird and the silly, like Lupin the Third. Pulling that one from the Wayback Machine there.
Yeah. All right. So thanks, everybody. And we will talk to you next week. Next week, I am going to be covering Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is not an anime technically, but it's done in a similar style. It's one that I love. My kids love that one. And we just, not the movie. We will not be discussing the horrendous shamakery that was the live action film of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but we will be talking about the animation show. So anyway, thanks everybody, and we will talk to you next week at 5 p.m. Bye now.
Bye-bye now.